Welcome to another episode, Focus in Finance. I am Shirley, your host. And I tell you what, I am so excited today because I had an opportunity to meet this beautiful young lady here, Dr. Serelda. What I found out about her most interesting is the kind of thing that she does, helping the community, helping the word out there in her coaching. So Dr. Serelda, can you share with the audience a little bit about who you are? They want to know.
Absolutely. Well, good morning. Thank you so much, Shirley, for this opportunity, first of all.
Yeah.
But I am Dr. Serelda Herman. I'm the CEO and founder of Coaching That Cares, and I am also the visionary for the Married to My Purpose platform. And part of what I do stems based off of my experience in life, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
After 23 years of marriage, I divorced probably about 2 years ago. I am a retired military veteran, a 3-time combat veteran, and finances to me was very stable throughout my professional career. But I realized once I retired, I wanted to make sure that I had something sustainable for my children, but also teaching that to people throughout my companies with the coaching that I do.
That's wonderful. Well, first of all, thank you for your service. Amazing. I tell you, for those of you who's out there, whenever you hear the term of thank you for your service, I thought it was just in the beginning, it was just a phrase that people say, no, you don't understand. My son was in the Army, so I know what it's like. You know, when Dr. Serelda here mentioned that she's 3 times, let me tell you guys, combat is incredible for women. Especially, you have no idea of the kind of thing that they go through. It's gruesome as anything. Absolutely. So I want for you to please help elaborate a little bit about your coaching business, if you could, to the audience.
Absolutely. So Coaching That Cares, it stems in a couple of different branches. One of them is life realignment. The other one is diversity and belonging, where a lot of times women and even professionals, they get into spaces and they're not understanding how to navigate. So part of my niche is to help them navigate to get from where they are to where they need to be. And so that's one of the things that I do. I have also stumbled into a space just from my natural abilities to connect with people and get them to understand that they are not their circumstances. You and I have talked extensively, Shirley, about starting from the bottom and being able to build. I think people have an insecurity in rebuilding. Absolutely. And one of the themes is it is okay to begin again.
Absolutely. Well, like I've always said, where you are does not define who you are. That's right. And I think, with that being said, from where you are, you can change your life destiny by today, by making a change. And, and I think a lot of time, when people can go to your coaching, or whether my coaching or about finances and your coaching about life, it's okay for them to hear it, but if they don't execute.
That's key.
And I think it's so important that, whenever you can talk to people till you're blue in the face, and if they don't make a move to say, okay, let me attend your session, or let me really make a drastic change in your finances or doing anything different than that, you're on the same path. Sure. Nothing changes.
It's so important. After speaking with you in our conversations, there are 3 things that I always hear from you that I identified with. Start where you are, do what you can, and use what you got. I think we have to go and acquire things in order to start, and that's not true.
I know, and I love that about you. Being able to, and one thing, your inclusion, diversity, the kind of things that you do, where the business that you coach and teach and everything else, you don't discriminate against race, color, religion, background, education, even though regardless, you've been very, very successful where you are. And that's why I felt the connection of sisterhood.
Yeah, experience does not have color. It doesn't have race. It doesn't have religion. Everybody, when life happens, it happens to everybody. There's no respect of persons.
I know. Would you believe it? I am in Virginia, and guess where I had an opportunity to meet her? San Francisco, California. How in the heck is from Virginia? And we had to fly to San Francisco, California to meet each other. And
Divine alignment. Wow.
And tell them a little bit about that event that you and I had in California.
So there I was minding my business. Of course, Shirley is being Shirley. And I was the MC for this event at the Super Bowl. And one of her friends, who now we're all friends, she came up to me afterwards and Shirley said, "Oh my God, how long have you been doing this? This is amazing." I was an MC. And she said, "I connected with your story." And then I said the same thing to Shirley, to know that she had an experience that was so traumatic in her life and she has turned it around to do what she's doing now, to the point where she has to turn down appointments because she is so busy. And I'm not talking about busy for the sake of being busy. I'm talking about busy making impact, where people are calling her. Imagine being able to sit in a room like this lady and realize that you can do the work that you want to do and it doesn't even feel like work. That's what stuck with me, because your passion to do it, it doesn't feel like work. That's why I was so connected to what you did.
I love what you do too. As a matter of fact, as soon as we finish this TV recording, I'm at another speaking event. I'm also flying into North Carolina, doing an event teaching 400 police officers about how to have money, how to have protect the money, and how to think about the future. But I think the most important thing to them wasn't just about the money. It was about having what if they get hurt?
That's true.
What if they get hurt in the line of duty? What happens? Where's money come from? And I think that's why I'm coming down there to share with them that, hey, there's protection for you and your family in case something like that. So speaking of businesses, I know as a business owner, you're sitting there, you have to think of so many things, for marketing, how to get clients, how to get your voices heard out there, and how to get community involved. But I also, believe in, as business, you've got expense coming in, you got all this, and well, taxes, something with your uncle or my uncle. We're the same uncle.
Yes, we do have the same uncle.
So tell me, what are some of the things that you see in business that could be, that you have to be aware of when you're doing business?
Yeah, I think sometimes we have people out there that are hungry to make money, and they don't think of the legacy behind it. I want sustainable income for myself. I want sustainable income for my family, but I want to also teach sustainable income for my clients. And oftentimes when I get clients, Shirley, they're either broken, they're in pain, they're coming from trauma, they need to tell a story, of which that I've written a book, and I think you are a published author too.
Yes.
That's a form of income for me that I stumbled upon. That's what I teach them. It could be life insurance for somebody else. It could be book writing for someone else. But for the person who has nothing, that's starting from scratch, that's what I focus on. And that's how I believe we have become divinely connected, because you offer something in your business space that can provide people a different, sustainable way of life.
Yeah. And and I know, look, audience out there, that you guys are saying, hey, you know what, Shirley, sometimes when you get these advice, education, and certain stuff, and of course, something costs money, right?
Yes.
For an advice. And and I'll be honest with you, the other day I had to go to someone for advice, and this was not cheap.
Ooh.
Oh, it was not cheap. But what had happened was, it has to do with my health. And because my health is so worth it, it is who I am.
That's right.
To advance better, to do better things. So to me, it was worth the investment.
You couldn't afford not to invest.
That is correct. So sometimes when in life, you got to look at where you are. If something could, go to somewhere, learning something that can benefit it, and could that be of help? Could that change your life? And so I always believe in, yes, of course, you all know that I give free financial education across the globe and in the U.S., But tell them a little bit about, if someone that, let's say in the future, they were interested in connecting with you, how do they connect with you, your website, your information, your phone. So can you give the audience a little bit of...
Absolutely. So you can find me at drserelda.com, DRSEREL, D as in dog, A.com. And then my phone number is 703-372-9707. Again, my platform is the Married to My Purpose platform, where purpose is your forever partner in every area of your life. And then Coaching That Cares is the umbrella for my LLC. And I'm looking forward to hearing from all of you.
Yeah, and so let's continue on about our conversation.
Okay.
Because a lot of time, you hear different people say, okay, you know what? I've seen people talk, teaching me about coaches, about marriages, about how to be better, motivation. Share with them a little bit what makes you so different from the rest that I've just so attracted. Well, first of all, she is a phenomenal MC. I'm telling you. When she talked and everything, people were flooded around her, and I'm like, how did I get to this lady? Okay, so that's how much we connected, and I can't believe that she's right in my backyard.
Likewise.
She's like right in my backyard. God has a divine intention why it is what it is. So please
Yeah, I think what I've realized, Shirley, is if I am not operating as my authentic self, I can't operate the way I think I want to. I have to use what's already inside of me. And I believe that authenticity is what pulls authentic people to each other. It was the same thing with us. We just kept staring at each other like we're supposed to do something, but we don't know what that is, but we have to stay together. And I think with people connecting with me, it's organic. I think that's the best word that I could summarize. If it's organic, it's going to make an impact. If you are sending your representative, as my pastor would always say, God is not going to bless your representative. You've got to show up as yourself. You're showing up as yourself. You're telling your story. That's another piece. Do not be afraid to tell your experience and what you've gone through. That helps to build trust. Yeah. It helps to build credibility, and it also helps to build sustainability in whatever it is you want to do.
Wow, it's amazing that you said that you were talking to your pastor. I was at a church yesterday. Actually, it was a church convention with a whole bunch of pastor and bishop and everything else. And they were impacting things that I did demonstration when it comes to money and finance. But the most important thing, I sent a message to all the pastor and bishop is that, a lot of time I see that you and everybody else do such a good deed by helping others. But guess what? One of the biggest things, it saddened me a lot, is because no one take care of the pastor or the bishop sometimes. Wow. In some cases, there were pastor and bishop gave all the saving, everything to help the congregation, everything else. And when they passed away, they literally were doing GoFundMe. And I don't think that's how it should be, with the people be of service, and I think it's a wake-up call from everyone. And even the whole entire audience, guy, when it comes to your money, what's it doing? I am very, very concerned right now. Look, I don't have to lie to you. Look at the stock market today, where it's at, right? And you got this war, this stuff that's going on out there, the potential, someone said something in another country and here we are being affected by it. You talk about the economic condition. My health insurance, listen to this, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. My health insurance as of January went up $500 cost extra a month. $500 a month times 12, that's $6,000 more a year. Now remember, I already paid $12,000 a year. I'm paying $12,000 a year. I've just went through another. I am paying for $18,000 for two people for health insurance. Wow. Now, most of you guys out there, I know can't afford that. So with that being said, I love to connect with you. Again, Shirley Lou. Until next time, Shirley Lou and Associates. You can reach me at 703-608-1203. Again, 703-608-1203. I'm right there in McLean, but I operate in all 50 states. See you next time. Remember, we rise by uplifting others. Thank you, Dr. Serelda.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.